to the GCT. Guys, this is Super Rapid and Blitz that is happening in Poland 2026, and we'll be having a very short stream. The final two rounds are left, and guess who's playing right now? Who's gonna be playing? Are you excited? Okay, the stream was not scheduled earlier. We didn't plan to do it, but this one is too exciting to miss. Sindarov versus Gukesh happening very soon. It's gonna be beginning in 2 minutes, guys. How are you all? It's been an amazing Sigmund Open which just ended yesterday, and right now we are gonna be having the Blitz game, the first rapid game where Gukesh played amazing chess with the black pieces. But today, Sindarov would be looking at going for a revenge with the white pieces. Also, there was this fist bump, so it's gonna be super exciting. And it was very hard to not stream this, even if you don't have the camera. It's a nice photo there we have taken by Leonard Otis over there, and just keeping it over here. Bolo, are you excited? The games are going to be beginning in 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes. Where is the player cam? No, we neither have player cam nor we have my cam. We just have the game over here, and that's all we care about, I believe. And here we also have the pairings. Actually, last round, guys, Gukesh beat Hans Niemann with the black pieces, which was a very important result. In fact, it was quite a complicated game, and Hans sacrificed, and he had these rooks and knights and trying to put pressure because knights are usually good in blitz, but then the queen against the rook is also good in blitz. So in that way, there was a move missed by Hans, though he was in trouble. I think practically it was easier for black to play over there. And then Gukesh was very quick to spot that, and he beat Hans Niemann in the last round. No, Sagar is at Warsaw. He will be in the hall. He will be witnessing the game, and the games have begun. E4, E4, E5, the solid for the blitz. This is very solid. We are already looking at Italian. Bishop goes to C5, and Sindarov is thinking he does not go for a main line C3, but very recently popular the knight C3 line, and then A3 is gonna be pushing the bishop back. Gukesh stops bishop G5 ideas already with the move H6. I'm looking at, are they going to bring in any kind of novelties or not really? H3 played. And A5, Gukesh also stops the move B4 here. I would be very excited if at all, they are going for a plan like this and long castle. But I think it doesn't work in top level, but he does go bishop E3. Is white intending long castle? Any chance? Okay, bishop e3. Do you want to take, but then you don't want to allow the f5 to be open. The knight is going to jump to f5. This is something Sindarov would love, being a completely aggressive player. So I'm sure he's not going to take, but bishop a7, though b6 was the move recommended, it's a bit hard. You may not want to do that. Bishop a7 is normally natural over here, but white looks good according to the engines here, because you take and d4. That was a timing which was needed. Sindarov goes for castle, short castle, and once again short castle. No, Gukesh is not going to take immediately, because then there is not much sense also of the move bishop a7. Now white is thinking whether he should take a break with d4 here, whether he should take bishop takes a7 and misplace Gukesh's rook here. So we're waiting for that. Also, we have other interesting pairings which are going on. MVL Wojtaszek, he goes d4. Firuza versus Caruana. Central break is taken. Do you want to take on d4? maybe mass exchanges could happen after all of takes. But one thing which white will have, he's saying that look at the center. If you take everything, then I will have one pawn in the center, and you will not have any pawn in the main center, and that will be giving me this slight space in the center and this slight advantage. So Gukesh is thinking, but ED4 is actually a definitely nice move, because after knight d4 you can jump in with the knight to attack the bishop over here. Okay, do you want to go knight e5? I like that move quite a lot. You're attacking, but only thing is you may want to be a bit careful with f4 ideas, though then the bishop pinning the knight would be good for Guki. Will Guki be able to beat Sindarov for the second time in a row with the black pieces? Because that would be extremely epic. It's not easy, guys. Blitz is very, very difficult. But dekhte hai, one blunder, one slip, and you're gone. You're gonna fall from the cliff. C6. Wow, what a move. He's going for... It was an important move, and I wasn't even looking at that because I thought I want to develop the bishop. But a very nice move played by Guki, controlling the d5 square over here. That's the whole idea. And now the knight on c3 is kind of saying, what am I doing here? I have nowhere to go. Why did I even come here? So c6 played, but if rook e1 is played, but then you may have supported the e3 bishop, and you may be looking at f4, but then your rook is not on f file. Some pros and cons over there. Abhi 2 minutes ago, guys, we started the stream without giving anybody any notice until the people get to know the game is already going to be over. But this is something we just want to look at it together. As many people as you are, guys, like the stream. Leave the comments if you want similar stream tomorrow, a short one. Rook d1 played by Sindarov. His both the rooks placed very well on the d and the e file here. And now Guki is thinking what to do, because it's, you want to develop this bishop. At the same time, there is a way. Oh my god, that's a big mistake. That's a big mistake. White to play. Sindarov's knight is jumping to f5 now, looking at h6 and g7, and there he will have to be careful about the sacrifices also maybe, but he finds it. Sindarov is looking for revenge. Bishop takes f5. He gives away that bishop because, the knight is too annoying. But then, if bishop a7, which maybe Sindarov is thinking, yeah, Guki would have been super happy, but now takes over here, and suddenly the knight is in a mess. You can't go here, there's f4. You have to go to f8. Guki's position becoming a bit passive. But then bishop takes a7 and there's a disco. You will have to take here. Queen takes c2, rook takes c2, rook takes a7, again rook takes e8, and the other knight is also have to go back. So both the knights becoming passive. Guki may have missed it. This is definitely not he would really enjoy. Ah, what a miss. Queen e7, a simple, natural, developing move can cause you so much harm. How can you even think of it? Yeah, my voice is slightly... yeah, it's been a bit tiring. So I'll be back tomorrow much better, I hope, or maybe not. But just this 2 days, then we'll not be having commentary for a while. Go Gukesh. Okay, this one to save against Sindarov, I would say it's quite hard. I don't know if the time which is currently showing that Sindarov is having 3 minutes 12 seconds on the clock, is that really true? Because if that is true, then it's very hard. The position is hard. Time situation is hard. He loses a pawn over here. So one pawn down, and that too the f5 pawn is pretty much of a monster. Yes, Sindarov doesn't feel like he will be slipping this, but you never know because it's blitz, guys, and blitz may, it's like you look at the right and something goes wrong on the left. It's like that. Sagar is at Warsaw looking at the game live and covering the event there. G4 played. This is just a brilliant structure. Another irritating thing is this bishop on A2, which is beautifully placed, and these knights just don't look good. They're not able to coordinate. There's no good square. Knights need advanced squares, to be doing well. And where is the knight going? It has to be somewhere over here, maybe looking at h3, c2. But even in that case, it's not easy to take it there. It will only be some sort of one or two mistakes are needed from Sindarov. Otherwise, it's not possible. Sunita Parekh, Sagar is in Warsaw. Do not put the same message again and again. It's fine. He is covering the event over there. Knight of d5. Now, if bishop takes d5, there will be slight hope for black. Like he will be happy to, get rid of the bishop, even if the assessment may not change much. But that would be it. Also, the f4 square is very nicely covered over here. And what is the counterplay for black? Because if you look at the imbalances, you at least needed, some sort of pawn structure where you're creating a passer, you're trying to create a counterplay. What are the weaknesses in white's position? Not much. In fact, nothing. Nothing that you can attack. And how do you activate your pieces here? Like if you really want to go rook e8, but then what next? If your rook gets on c3 or something, that makes sense. But the knight is jumping to e4, saying that if you separate my pawn structure, I am so even happy because I have a bishop, I'll have 4 pawns, I have space on the king side, I have control on this file. I'm always looking at d7 and not letting a knights move from here. In a way, this is, I would say, positionally almost winning for Sindarov. The only thing is, not just positionally, also materially. If Guki even saves it, even comes close to save it, I would say that okay, Sindarov had to go really wrong, or Guki had to find some really miraculous move. Wow! But I don't know. Also, by the way, if Sindarov beats Guki, then is he going to be expressing in the fist bump? Though that was, as Guki mentioned, it was in the heat of the moment, something for himself. C4, the C5. Wow, even this pawn and this pawn. It's a disastrous position right now. You completely lost, in fact, because you move your knight, then G5 comes in, Rook D7 will come in, he goes to D5, but then you are losing another pawn here after takes, but he couldn't allow the rook to enter to D7. So this one's completely becoming a no chance of survival. 30 seconds on the clock. Sindarov is also maintaining good time here. And I think he's in a very different mood. Yeah, he really wants to completely make a comeback because this game, as they say, that a lot of things going on in their psychology. Of course, they are thinking about the world championship, and these games, no matter what, are going to matter. They're going to create imprints in the minds of both of them. Knight d4 played. And now do you want to go king d4 king? Okay, you don't get this because look at the barrier. The pawns have covered everything. Like it's like just completely done and dusted here. You're also losing the a5 pawn. No, this just can't be good, guys. This is the 8th round of today, and these are the last 2 rounds of the Blitz tournament. They will, in fact, Gukesh versus Sindarov will happen again tomorrow, where Gukesh, I believe, will get one white at least, because, last 2 games he's played with the black pieces, this one and the other one. So he will get white pieces tomorrow, and here he resigns because it's completely over. Nothing much going on. Oh, done. My goodness. I'm just gonna have a look at guys. Yep. So St. Louis Chess Club is streaming this, and you could watch the video over there. But yeah, so 1-1, yeah, 1-1 between the two games. Though the first one was, in fact, if you count the points here, 2 points for Rapid, 1 point for Blitz. So for Sindarov, if he has to equalize, he again needs to win in terms of those points. But otherwise, tomorrow will be like a nice. It's like a short match, yeah. 3 games between them over here, and it's 1-1. And tomorrow is like the finals between Sindaro and Guki. How many of you are going to join at 9 p.m.? I believe the rounds are at the same time, but 9 p.m. tomorrow. I mean, maybe we'll start at 8:30 p.m. also. So 8:30 p.m. Let me know if you're interested. And now we will. No, we don't have the video. But guys, the other results are done. MVA Radoslav versus Maxim Bashir Lagrave. It's MVL wins. Fabi beats Ali Reza Firuza because Fabi was having a little tough tournament. Hans Niemann is playing against Duda, and Duda again beating Hans Niemann. I believe he was the leader of the tournament earlier, but before Gukesh beat him, we will check that out. This is the final game going on of this round, and the rook is oof completely gone. Rook c1, rook c6 incoming. Even the king pawn endgame is gonna be winning here. Yes, it could. It's possible. Like people emote. Like we are now recently seeing so many things. Yaz losing with Magnus. Like almost crying at the game. Um, People are moving. Like it's all chess world right now is interesting. I think one fist bump, the whole like newspapers are completely covering. It's interesting that way. But yeah, it all depends also on the intent of the player, because I believe at this moment, at least in general, our top players do not feel like anyone having like any negative intentions for anyone, which is very nice to see. By the way, the round is over, and let's see who is leading the event. If I go to the players board, Hans Niemann is leading the event with 16 and a half. Wait a second, I would like to show you this. With 16 and a half, Hans Niemann is leading the tournament. So Wesley on 15 and a half. Fabi Fabi is on 14 and a half. Fedosiev on 14 and a half. MVL on 12 and a half. Duda 12 and a half. Then we have Gukesh on 12. Ali Reza Firuz, I can't believe, 11 and a half. Sindaro 11 and a half. Wojtaszek 9. I mean, what is this Blitz tournament? Yeah, I mean, the whole, in general, the score system, if you see, these are out of 17 games, and they are also counting the classical games. So, how can you even imagine players like Sindarov and Firuza, being on 11 and a half, even Gukesh on 12. But Wesley and Neiman doing really well. USA should be happy because right now the top 3 standings are Hans, Wesley, and Caruana. Can you stream all the games tomorrow? Okay, maybe I will put a vote over here so that I know what is the interest of the people. Maybe full may not be possible. I will check that, but I would definitely love my voice to be saved for Sindaro versus Gukesh tomorrow. Tomorrow, will you watch the stream? Would you like ChessBase India to stream tomorrow? Guys, I have put a poll over here. Maybe you can let me know, because of course many of you might even like that we'll stream, but will you watch or not? Let me know. Clip Farmer says even people who don't watch chess get interested in chess world when they see these kind of reactions from people in reels. Sekambardara says I climbed from 200 to 1300 in 5 months while studying for 10 boards. Can you guess my percentage? I climbed um how can I guess your percentage? I don't know anything about you. But yeah, Sindarov, I think Sindarov fans, of course, which the whole world is, right now are feeling happy. And also, I think just this whole matchup is happy. Today was a complete crusher for that matter, because this one mistake, I would love to take you to that moment to actually understand what went wrong. Uh, we have to see that because we have a bit of time. What's the poll saying? 80% people are you going to be watching it tomorrow? But we have 300 people right now. So maybe 300 people will watch it. It's fine. We'll still do it. Really want ChessBase India stream for the final day. श्रीजा पढ़ाई हो गई क्या? Okay. So here we are at the game, and there was one moment which changed. Actually, there were the opening did become successful then for Sindarov. Maybe first moment in the opening to understand was for Black to keep Bishop on A7, which is pretty normal. B6 is an interesting move because at the end of it you are covered B4. It's not possible. And anyway, if he's gonna play D4, maybe your bishop is better placed over here. Let's say. Though I'm takes, knight takes, knight takes, bishop takes. Okay, you can do short castle. Though I don't really like B6 much at a practical level. He went bishop A7, then short castle. Could I not have just simply short castled, allowed bishop C5, D takes C5? I like the D4 square here. Ah, but there's an interesting problem here. There's a good move here, guys. White to play. Some chess training हो जाए. ब्रेक्स में देख लूंगी. हाँ तो फुल टाइम क्यों करूँ स्ट्रीम? No, I will do it more than maybe I will check the schedule, and we will accordingly already schedule it before so that you guys know when the stream will begin. Would be interesting if Sindar also did a fist bump. Exactly, he does fist bump, and then after that we have two more fist bumps. ये मजा आता था. Like it's in a fun way kind of. The only problem here is the final time. Who does the fist bump at the World Championship? Accidentally typed no in a poll, but then you can change it. No, you can always say yes if you really want it. The move over here, I think right now, guys, you're not thinking. Think. Difficult question. White to play. Knight e5 and d4 kahan se? Takes. I'm getting a piece. Should I tell you? Is it too difficult for you? No, Mohammed Ziaddin Hassan. 300 votes मिले हैं. 80% is saying yes. Got it. We'll do it. Castle. Castle already done है. हाँ, white का ना castle. No, the very nice thematic move over here is bishop b5. Because the whole idea is you're putting pressure here. The knight was going to go to d4 in the future. So you're happy to take this. You're to understand that this knight is doing good. And now if the knight has to go over here, you're losing the e5 pawn. So this was nice. He played bishop a7. This is still all good only. The year he got knight e5. It was very good. Actually, for black was very comfortable. In fact, here he even made a very nice move, which was c6. Queen went to e2. Here even knight g6. Maybe developing the bishop was fine. I'm not sure if you could challenge. Nah, there's a sorry. There's a knight on d4. I don't want to give it away. Oops, what happened? He went knight g6 here, rook d1, and queen e7 just completely changed from 0.0 to like minus 1.7. So it was such a huge blunder. But if you would show this position to anybody without an engine, it is impossible to understand that this move can be a blunder. Like, you cannot even understand that knight f5 is so powerful. It's just a normal move. So I think it was underestimated, and the move here for Gukesh would have been. I mean, there were many possible moves. Yeah, just a very fine position here. Rook d1, yes, there's pressure here. Yes, you're looking at knight f5 ideas in the future, but could develop the bishop to d7 for now. Queen to c7, rook to e7, doubling the rook over here on the semi-open file, looking at e4. This was, in fact, after that, even going bishop b8, and look, wow, beautiful ideas were there by playing bishop d7 and so on. Even bishop b8, if you don't want to get into all of that, that also works, because now if knight f5, bishop f5, ef5, suddenly in this situation, earlier there was queen on e7 and this forced exchanges, but now there is no problem because of beauty knight g4, and there's a pin. With queen on e7, you don't have that power anymore for the rook. So Gukesh actually was doing very well, but queen e7 was just a complete miss, which was natural. And then after this, I think what Sindarov did was to absolutely no give any kind of counterplay, but it was easy. It was easy. He won a pawn, and you have a completely dream position with the pawn and rook, bishop, knight, everything what you want. So then you are losing. All right. So this one was done, and now we are going to be going for the last blitz round of today, which will begin in 4 minutes. The pairings are Gukesh versus Duda. Oof. Last rapid, he beat Duda. Now in blitz, Duda is quite a monster, so not sure how things will work out, especially after the last loss. Wesley is playing with Sindarov, Caruana with Fedosiev, MVL with Alireza Firuza, and Hans is taking on Wojtaszek. So, मजा करेंगे guys. Gukesh versus Duda. How many of you would love to watch? How many blitz lovers here? Like between blitz and rapid, what do you like more? Blitz or rapid? Last round of the day, guys. Very short stream today. Yes, the match is happening in 2 minutes. Exact. No, 4 or 3 minutes, whatever. Blitz. सब लोग बुलेट क्लासिकल rapid blitz. Can you do one commentary without any bias? Oh, there's no bias. I mean, of course, we're rooting for Gukesh. You mean not to root for Gukesh? Okay, if whatever everyone wants in the chat, that's what we'll do. Want a game to be seen neutral or rooting for Gukesh? Let's do accordingly. Oh, by the way, we can actually end a earlier poll over here, which is now done. Yes, matlab we are streaming. I will put over here neutral. I'll put a new poll. Neutral or root for Gukesh. But whatever we do, one thing is there. We always root for chess. Oh, the games are beginning? No. What type of commentary do you enjoy? Okay, I have a poll. Will help me to understand. Rooting for Gukesh, rooting for Guki. Bro, it is no not necessary. Like if even if it is India channel, it is fine. Depends on what you would enjoy more. Magnus Carlson in the chat. I mean, of course, the fake one. And guys, just 1 minute to go. The games will begin. In that meantime, the voting is saying neutral 45%, root for Gukesh 55%. Pretty close. Let's try having both of it, but also rooting for chess. You have India in your channel's name. That's true. Like we're following the Indian players always, which is always there. And but the Indian players are at top where the impact is global. नाम बस है इंडिया बट इम्पैक्ट तो अपने प्लेयर्स ने तो यहाँ वहाँ पूरा ही स्प्रेड कर दिया है. I read comments if they're good, if they make sense, and if they're positive. Yes. All right. People want rooting for Gukesh. Also, guys, Duda was a part of his team in the last World Championship. He used to play a lot of practice games with him. That too, I guess, Blitz, right? Not remember, but yeah. So that was very publicly announced, and it's like internally how many games you would have had with one player. So you know so much about that. But what is this B5? Wow. Knight F3 and B5 on the board. Let's go. Duda is so creative. He's one of the like absolute talents of Poland. And maybe he is, currently he is 2743 and all, but he's very close to 20 2790 kind of a rating, if like that is the caliber there. What is peak rating though? I don't know. But b5, bishop g2, we have one fianchetto to bishop. This one is ready to exchange that bishop over here. Nice b5 c5 pawns. Maybe you guys would want to try such a thing if you get a chance. And then b takes c4, b or b4, a decision to be made. Also after that d5, one file will be opened. Lovely opening. Sometimes when you have played with somebody a lot of chess, you may also want to not go into the same territories. So knight on a3. Okay, that's interesting. What does he want to do? Bishop on b2, another fianchetto bishop. Black won't have time for g6, I believe. It would be very slow. Yes. Oh, this is hanging already. Now if b4, you go knight c2, which is happening on the board. So one side is getting closed, but the center is going to be in the state of keeping the tension. He goes d6. Duda is not at all interested in d5. So Gukesh says, okay, if you're not keen, let me take the control of the center all the time. If you think about this, then there is knight b4 in the future. In fact, that would even convert it into Sicilian kind of ideas. Knight d7 played here. Just simply you want to develop bishop e2, but yeah, you don't ever want to take here because not of knight c5. This is hanging, but d takes c5, and it helps black to gain some space. He goes bishop e2. Tension is maintained here. And what if, like, imagine if you get e4, white would be happy to get the center control, but it's not an easy move because everybody is looking at this. Maybe something like rook e1, knight e2, but then the question will be, do you want to exchange the light square bishops? Already bishop e4. Duda is like, yes, I know you are thinking about it in the future. Let me already go to e5, e4. But the engine says release the tension by taking here, forcing him to take with the pawn here, and forcing another exchange because the bishop is attacked. And this position, basically, you go e4, and white is very happy because your pawns are placed on the light squares. This is beautiful. This knight is going to come to e3, maybe even f4 and g4. That does look quite exciting. Uh, so that's one idea which Gukesh has, to either go knight d2 or to take here and then go knight e2. He goes bishop h3 because exactly you kind of feel you don't want to exchange the bishop. It's not very natural, but look at this. Maybe some tricks incoming because if you get knight g5, the king is in the center. You better be careful about this whole thing here. Nice move. Actually, bishop h3 is such a weird looking good move. Like it. 3 minutes 30 seconds for Guki. Duda is taking time now at 3 minutes 5 seconds there. Today's vlog with Katie and Sagar is nice and good amazing venue tour. Says Shadow, thank you. I have not seen it, but really good to hear it. Time control is 5 plus 2. Katie is like, she has a lot of Indian followers on her Instagram. Guys, check her Insta out. It's really nice and cool, and she's such a nice person. Also, Lucas, just wonderful people, and yeah, they always uh, take care of Sagar, I would say. Knight g5, bishop goes back to b7, and now guys, sack maro. Oh, lovely. Bishop e6. Typical. Takes. Knight e6. This is attack. This is attack. You give a piece for 3 pawns and the king is busted in the center. King f7. The knight goes back to f5. That's the only square it can save itself. So 3 pawns for a piece and an exploited king here and a lovely bishop here. Also with the pawn on d5, which has completely restricted the activity of the bishop on b7. It's like in the prison currently. e4 incoming, queen incoming very soon. Maybe not even that. Maybe e4, f4, e5 ideas. So lots of drama happening. You can't even go bishop g7. Be careful of the forks. This knight is a monster. This bishop is a monster. And pawn storm is going to become a monster. So Guki doing really well here against Duda. If you look at the blitz rating, Guki's rating is 2646 and Duda is on 2743. He gets it. He's close to winning here. The knight is on e5. Queen d7 played. Can you not just kick the knight away right now? But you also have a way. He's taking it slow. Yeah, he's keeping everything solid. g4, g5 is also another thing, so that there is this pawn base on f3. Duda is a person you cannot underestimate. He's so resourceful that in any situation, his resilience is too good. So for Guki, even if he's winning, he would 100% know that till you sign the score sheet, You cannot have a fraction of second slip. Queen c2. I think very interestingly what Gukesh is saying that okay, I have given a piece sack, but come on, my material is 3 pawns, which is like materially it's equal. Plus, after that, if you look at other imbalances, the most important one is the king's safety, where this king is weak. And then if you look at the piece activity, there is no argument over here. So at the end of it, it's like you like as good as two, but 2 pawns up, you know. That's what he's saying, and he's like, I don't need to do anything urgently. Let me calm down. No urgency over here. Queen D8, and Duda is like, how do I find a plan? What is the plan? Because Duda would be waiting for something like, Guki just pushes the pawns and Duda can then sacrifice some knight or bishop and open it up, maybe weaken the king. The bishop goes to c8, looking at bishop takes f5 here. But it's a bit too late. Even if it, got out of the prison, it's not really going to help you. G4 is a nice move here. I think yeah, for bishop f5, you're not worried, I believe, because the other knight will jump into f5 and it's solid. Duda is very tricky, says Sakar. Yes. Knight g4. Ooh, I wouldn't want to exchange so many pieces, but is that a good move? Wow. Oh, wow. Pretty decent. Wow, is the move. G4 is a good move. F4 you can't play now, E4 is hanging. Sometimes it does feel take your king away from here. It's also a decent move. I'm not finding a blunder, over here. In fact, I don't know whether I even want to think of h4. It's still not a blunder. So, Guki is in the candy shop here. Duda is a really good blitz player, but currently, guys, Duda having 1 minute 3 seconds on the clock. Gukesh having 1 minute 17 seconds on the clock. Rook a7. Side se bachao. Koshish to karo. So, Duda bringing another piece over here. Going for, no, if gf5. But at this moment, just defending the second rank, maybe he'll take the king back to g8. Then maybe he'll be ready to bring the rook to f5. Going on slow and steady, but it all depends on how these pawns are going to be pushed by white. Even white is going to be able to bring his queen to the king side, or maybe even rook e2. Similar ideas. Think about it, guys. Think about it often that how you want to plan. What do you want to do? Like you would love to think g5 and knight g4 and knight h6, knight f6, mating ideas with the bishop and knight. The typical themes over here. I want to open the f file. You want to, but how can you? Rook f7 played. Rook e2. He first took the queen here because that is also tying down the bishop on d6. Another pawn means it's all over anyway. Knight to h6, bishop h6. Yep. He's there. Rook e2, knight takes e4. That's like a, desperate attempt, as we call in chess. Like, there's nothing much to do. You finally try to create some sort of tension in the position where at least your opponent can go wrong. And 36 seconds, and because when you go so low on time, it happens so many times, and especially I've seen against Duda. Yes, it's happened by many people. At least Duda says, okay, by doing it, my rook is getting active, so he won't care about the material anymore. Knight e5, bad move here. But what's the reason? Because bishop e5. Oh, he takes here because I was gonna say bishop e5 is like you don't want to give the bishop, but this is the thing about the top players. They're not attached with oh I love bishops, oh I love knights. I mean they're so flexible at the situation. D takes e5, double the rooks. अरे इतना सब क्या हो गया? King h8, g5. Rook f4, rook f4, ef4, queen f4, and Cookie getting close to winning over here. But a queen has entered. Better be careful for any kind of perpetual, any kind of the bishop reaching on this diagonal. Though, let's be realistic, guys. This is simply over because the queen and the knight, and now Cookie is 2 pawns up. But king is also weak. h6 is incoming. Just don't go king h2 because you will lose your rook. But king g2 check. And now king h2. No. Okay, queen e5 check exists. But then you go king h3. He goes queen e8. How do you win here? How do you win? At least there is nothing direct. Queen e5. Until the bishop doesn't get active, tension to hai nahi. Okay, lovely. Knight g7. Gook is like, I don't even need that bishop and all these drama. Let me simply go to the king pawn endgame or queen endgame or rook endgame. Everything is winning. Final try by black. If there is any perpetual, 2-3 seconds with Duda, 5 seconds with Gookie. King goes to h2. h5 is also defended and resigns. Duda resigns. Gukesh makes a comeback in the last round. What a game. A very nice finish. This was so creative. All those who missed it. After bishop e4, bishop h3. What a nice move. Completely, black missed the whole thing. Takes. These were the tactics. Knight g7, everything came by force, and white is simply better, but also converted it beautifully. The other results which happened were Sindarov versus Wesley ended in a draw. Fabi versus Fedosiev is going on, but it is a draw. Ali Reza beat MVL. Oof, same country, yeah, now France. And Wojtaszek, Wojtaszek beat Hans, which means, guys, that Hans has lost 3 games in a row. What are you saying? Am I correct? Yup. Hans lost to Wojtaszek, Duda, Gukesh, and Sindarov. No, Sindarov was a draw. Okay. Man, that was quite sad for him because he was leading the event. But it happens. Happens to the best. Okay. Race and 2 kings remain on the board. This one was the final round. Tomorrow we will have 9 rounds, guys. Did you enjoy? I had given a poll over here for tomorrow's stream. Oh, that one was done. Okay, we had neutral 46%, root for Gukesh 54. I think we just look at chess. Yeah, at the end of it, it's not like, come on, Gukesh, you beat Duda. I don't think we're doing that at all. So it's more like great move found by, if Gukesh, even if Duda finds great move, it's like great move found by Duda. Like that should be good. Then that is. Not sure if it happens to Magnus. Yep, Magnus is always the exception for everything. And let's look at the rankings right now. The final standing, still Hans is leading. Oof. Matlab, imagine after you lose 3 games in a row and you are leading. What to say? Matlab, how good his streak was going on. Unbelievable. So 16.5 for Hans Niemann out of 18. Wesley on 16 and Fabi on 15. Then we have Fedosiev on 15. Gukesh on number 5 now on 13. Slowly climbing up. Firuza on 12.5. MVL 12.5. Duda 12.5. Sindarov 12. And Wojtaszek on 10. So Sindarov's, I think, this first GCT, I believe. This one. It's sometimes, yeah, hard after candidates. A lot of things happen, and he will get into the groove of playing these elite level tournaments back to back. There's good enough time. There's also going to be Olympiad in Uzbekistan. So, all these Uzbeks will be very happy, like how it was for Chennai in Olympiad. Yeah, similar to that. Okay, maza to aaya, guys. But this is it. We're all done. Is our Sagar Shah sleeping? I hope not, because he was recording the games over there, recording the scene behind the scenes over there in Warsaw. So if he would have slept while recording, I'm not sure, but that is also okay. We can still cut the important parts. Commentary tomorrow, yes. I'm eagerly waiting for the Olympiad. क्या बात है? Olympiad के वक्त है क्या exams, IPL? Is anything clashing, guys? It will be in September. So let me know. But for now, all of you take care and we will meet tomorrow. तो मज़ा ही करेंगे. Take care, guys.